I've got one for you, bro. Some backstory: I've always been spiritually inclined. I've felt or seen spirits' energy since I was a kid. I saw my aunt a few days after she died when I was 9, and I felt my grandpa die when I was 10. I remember being 4 years old and always hearing things whisper my name to me. I never really felt threatened, but I knew to not engage with evil spirits. Be me, about 5 years ago. With my best friend, let's call him M, we've been through it all, highs, lows, everything. I always felt weird energy at his house or around him, but usually just ignored it. After some years, I start having a recurring nightmare. I'm in a black room, a woman with unkempt, matted hair, and a tattered gray dress has her back to me. As I get closer to her, she turns around and screams, her eyes are sunken in and hollow. If I'm hanging out with M, and I keep having this feeling she's with us. One day, M and I are hanging out, and I tell him about my dream. He goes pale and his eyes fill with fear. Anon, you can see her too? He finally comes clean that she's been following him his entire life since he had seen a fatal motorcycle accident as a kid. Always near him, just watching him full of hatred, occasionally waking up with bruises, scratches, things in his room missing. After that day, things start getting really fucked up. I start noticing her from the corner of my eyes. Since I know evil spirits generally leave you alone if you challenge them, I try that. Leave M alone and never come back. M starts getting attacked more often. Blatantly too, in full view of me. One time M is walking to the kitchen where I am, and I see him wince in pain. He asks me to check his back, and he has 3 fresh, bleeding claw marks below his left scapula. Another time we're playing COD at his house, we each take turns after we die. It's his turn, obviously both hands on control. Can't. I have my phone in my right hand, water bottle in my left. I look over my shoulder. To my left where he's sitting. As soon as I look there, the fucking TV remote gets thrown at his head. Fuck man, I'm literally getting goosebumps typing this. Anon, why the fuck did you throw that at me? M, I'm sitting next to your right, how the fuck would I have thrown that? We look at each other and get this deep sense of dread and we both go completely cold. Immediately we both knew who it was that threw it. We get up and leave. Fast forward some time. I'm sleeping over his house, we're chilling in his room. He tells me, Anon, tonight I really want you to pay attention to the shadows in my bedroom. You're the only person that's ever believed me, so I need you to see it. We turn the lights out, but leave a candle on. Anon, pay attention to the flame of the candle and the shadows around it. I'm watching it, and I feel her touch me, I go completely cold again. The candle slowly starts getting dimmer and dimmer, but you can see a shadow passing back and forth. Through its light. Hear creaking of the floorboards of his bedroom as if she's fucking taunting us. Shit bricks until I fall asleep. I have so many more stories if there's any interest. I sounds really fucking cliche, but the way she looks is basically exactly how you'd describe a banshee. Pickerel. I remember showing him a picture of a banshee years ago and him going pale and telling me that's exactly how she looks. This isn't anything scary, but I remember this. Be me. 2004, 9 years old. My aunt is diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. She's been a heavy smoker since the 70s, so it was bound to happen. She went under fast. I think it was less than 4 weeks from diagnosis to death. I'm sitting in my bedroom probably 2 days after she's buried. Since I was so young, my dad didn't want me to go to the funeral. I'm watching TV, my bedroom door is open. From the corner of my eye, I see something. Look at the doorway and there she is, in a blue dress, smiling at me. Next thing I know, she's gone. My dad also has the same thing happen to him. That same night, he's sitting in bed with my mom reading a book. He looks up and sees her, also in a blue dress, smiling at them. My dad yells at my mom, "There's C." She's standing right there, she's gone. My parents keep it to themselves so as to not scare us. I innocently the next day go to my parents all excited. Mom, Dad. Last night I say aunt. C smiling at me. She had her hair down and was in a blue dress. Both my parents look at each other in complete disbelief. Years later, once I was older, my mom finally admitted to me of what had happened to my dad. To this day, even my dad can't explain it when I talk to him about it. 2005, I'm 10 now. Grandpa has been sick for years. The night he dying, my mom runs out of the house, telling my older sister to watch my brother and me. She doesn't tell us why, but I figured it had something to do with Grandpa. Brother and I fall asleep in our beds, we shared a room at the time. Sometime around 11:30 p.m., I wake up freezing cold but wide awake. I wake up my brother and say, "I think something happened to Grandpa." Big bro reassures me nothing is wrong, and we go back to bed. Next morning, my mom sits us both on the couch. I instantly knew what she was gonna say. "Boys, last night, your grandfather passed away." Tears, tears, tears for years. First story. Be me, about a year ago. First time driving up to my buddy's house. Following Google Maps. About an hour and a half drive. It's around 7:30 p.m., freshly dark. Load up some music and start driving. First thing that surprises me is how secluded these roads are. This can't surely be the fastest way to my buddy's house. Follow the road as best I can, otherwise get there without an incident. Have a good time with my friend's family and chat about the drive up. He agrees that it's definitely a trek. I blew a tire on the drive once. Was stuck out there for an hour waiting for AAA. Right in the middle of a woods, next to a swamp. Pretty creepy, man. Tell him that I wasn't looking forward to the drive back, but that I'll manage. Don't drink or do drugs or anything due to the unpredictability of the road. When it's time to leave, about 2 a.m. or so, I decide to lean into my fear. I load up one of those creepy stories YouTube videos that's like 3 hours long. The drive isn't nearly 3 hours, so that should keep me awake. Get a coffee and chug it at a 24-hour convenience store and start the drive back down. The video works great. Random stories about skinwalkers and ghosts and spooky shit. I'm pretty tired too, so I keep swearing I'm seeing stuff in the corners of my headlights. Enjoying myself despite being creeped out. Keep driving. Get pretty into some stories, other ones I tune out, and think about other stuff. Pull over to take a piss in the woods. Nothing creepy happens. Eventually the video cuts out whilst I'm driving. Check my phone to see if I lost internet connection. The video is over. It was at least 3 hours long. Like 3 hours 19 minutes or something. Look at the time it's after 5 in the morning. I had been driving for the entire duration of the video. Check the Google Maps, and it says I'm still a half hour out from my destination. I lost like 2 hours of time that night. No explanation why. Be me. 22 to 23 years old at my friend's apartment. I had witnessed weird shit happening in that place before. But whatever. Friend is moving out, she was already out of town when I get a call. "Please, you have the keys of my apartment, could you go in there, take some photos, grab some stuff, and keep it in your place?" "Sure thing." I was on my own, could have called my other friend. But I'm a WoW player, my big brain doesn't get to think that far. So there I go, up 2 floors, put the key in, turn it. Unlocks. That characteristic smell of a closed apartment. Everything was dark, blinders were down, and they had cut the light. In front of me, the living room and the hallway, that seemed to lead nowhere. Oh dear. I turn the flashlight of my phone on. It does almost nothing. I hurry to take a photo of the empty living room. I feel like I'm in a liminal space. I move to the hallway, open the first door, take a photo of the windowless bathroom. Fucking great, only with my shitty flash this looks even creepier. I keep going through the hallway. I feel a presence right behind me. Heavy breathing intensifies. I don't dare to turn around. I open the second door, take a photo of the bedroom. Third door, the guest room where I used to sleep. I feel some chills like something went through me. Quickly rush to the last door, which is the kitchen. I take the last photo, grab my shit and rush all the way back out of the apartment. I relax with the light of the hallway. Take a deep breath, look the photos. They're all distorted, and there are orbs everywhere. Holy fucking shit. I look to the locked door again. I'm not going in again, fuck this shit. I send the photos on WhatsApp. Never come back again. I tried to recover those photos, but none of them had them anymore. We all had changed our phones. Be me. 21 years old and new to a college town. Family kicked me out, surviving on kindness until recently, when I got an apartment with a roommate named Braden. But I need that fucking dough. Look for jobs online, but with very few qualifications in a town saturated with needy college douchebags. I need to broaden my search. Eventually I find a cleaning job in town, but at the interview they let me know the real deal. My job is to travel a few miles north into agricultural country and clean machinery at a facility that packages and ships eggs. Fast forward a couple of weeks. Friends with a Mexican guy who decides to pull a prank on me, tells me about a shortcut through a field. I take the shortcut that night when I got off at 10 p.m. The joke is that it wasn't a shortcut, it took essentially the same amount of time to get home. He laughed about it later. Anyway, I'm driving with my lights on through this up and down hilly path in the middle of Tall Cornor. Whatever. And it happens. I stop my car to see if I have a signal and something just whooshes for the car. Whoosh. Sent my shitty Civic reeling side to side. But the corn is undisturbed. Ruffled, but still standing and tightly packed where it's growing. Something flew over my fucking car close enough and fast enough to shake it for seconds afterwards. Wait for the sound of a collision, I know there's a landing strip nearby. Nothing. Drive home frazzled, tell Brayden and he shrugs. His girlfriend goes to the flight school that uses the runway. Ask her about it the next day. No, that shit gets inventoried and inspected before and after any students use it, and only students use that runway and those materials. Sounds like bullshit, tell her so. No, there's a larger and safer runway at 2 miles north for recreation, up by the hangars, but nobody would fly that low with no light unless they want to Buddy Holly themselves. Spooked. Kawibro here, usually a lurker, but something strange happened a week ago that I'd like to share. Be me. Finish work at restaurant at about 10:30 p.m. Walk home because it's less than a kilometer away. Jamming some tunes with headphones. Decide to take the shortcut through the park. Park is pretty small, has a playground, a patch of grass, a bunch of properties backing onto it, a few hundred SQM of bush forest, small light green area in Pickrell, and a gravel path, black dotted line in Pickrell, running through it to a different road to the one you enter in. Shortcut involves going up a well-flattened path through the bush, basically following the small brown line in order to reach the road my house is on. Jamming in basically pitch black. Pull phone out of pocket to turn my music off because I'm about to enter the bush path and will be home in like a minute. Hear a rustling in the bush to my left on the ground. Only 2 to 5 meters away from me. Probably just a bird up late. Since I have my phone out, I might as well check it out. Turn on torch and peer into the grass, leaves and plants. Nothing moving. Med.jpg. Turn torch off. Hear rustling start up again. Hear it get within a meter of me real quick. Still can't see anything. Feel it hop crawl onto my shoe. WTF. Kick my foot out a bit to get it off. Quickly turn torch back on. Scan area by my feet and in the bush. Can't see anything even indicating movement. Walk home feeling kind of strange. Hedgehog is my guess. Get a few here in Auckland. All stories from locals and myself will be told from a first-person perspective. The first street you reach as you enter Moorhead from Fargo on Main Avenue is a one-way that goes about 15 blocks south. There is one park near the beginning and another at the very end. Be me, going from Fargo into Moorhead to pop by my mom's house. Late at night, 12 a.m. 2 a.m.-ish. Multiple occasions. Skateboarding or walking. Have to go down long one way each time. Always get a bad feeling going past the first park. Would often see an absolutely enormous black dog sitting on whatever side of the sidewalk I was going down that night. Bright yellow eyes. Unmoving. The breed looked like a Sheltie, but all black and just big. I would always cross the street as to not pass by it. Its head and eyes would follow me. One time I saw it stand up and start to walk towards me. Would have stood up and touched the shoulders of an 8 feet tall man. Noped hard af. One time going to mom's house, taking the one way. Skating. Hard, one headphone in one out. Cross past the park. Feel a gust of wind pass at my back. Hear the rustling of nails on concrete. Look behind me to see the black dog sprinting across the street. Swear I felt it graze my back. It tried to dash at me, but I was a foot ahead. Never skated so hard in my life. Be me, late teens early 20s. Date a crazy bitch with bits per second, had an argument earlier on cause I spent the night landing with my bros instead of coming round to her place. Get call at like 1 a.m, she's freaking out about someone being in the house. Apparently someone is pacing up and down the hallway outside her room, but nobody is home except her. I assume she is just being a fuckwit and trying to manipulate me into coming around. But she stresses that she checked if anyone was there and the house was empty. She says someone is rattling her door handle, and although I can hear it over the phone, I figure it could be her. She sends me a video to prove it. Sure enough, handle is going mental, and she is on the opposite side of the room. Blaze around to her place ASAP. Get there and it all stops immediately. She is curled up on her bed, panicking. House is inordinately cold and feels really unwelcoming. Comfort her, bone her, go to sleep. Wake up at 3 a.m. on the dot. All these little wooden animals on her shelf are rocking around like there's an earthquake. Door handle is going doolally again. I get up, whip the door open, and there's nothing there. All the cupboards that run along the hallway above the doors are open, and so are several drawers in the kitchen. Tell Casper to fuck off, I'm trying to sleep. Hear footsteps up and down the hallway all night, and occasionally the animals jiggle around too. But at least, that faggot leaves the door alone. I used to be Captain Rational Explanation, but goddamn if I struggle to explain that shit. Other one, UFO this time, driving mates, car home from high school to the farmhouse we lived in together. Me, both are girls, and another mate are in car, is on my bike ahead of me, opening cattle strips. Anon, what's that? Asks Mrs. Look to the right and running parallel to the 1-kilometer road to our house, a ball of light is flying along. Almost hit cause he has stopped to watch it too. One last one, before I abandon ship and hit the bar. Be me. Hanging with some friends, smoking weed and walking down the sides of the Red River. Needles, beer cans, human feces, cigarette butts, etc. The banks of the Red River are great camp-out places if you're homeless or want to fuck someone or shoot up. Just walking along, about a mile down this unwalked path. Find a clearing very close to the river. There is a burn pit in the center. Find an entire woman's outfit, shoes, socks, bra, panties, pants, shirt, jewelry, etc. all half burned. Dig through the fire, find a purse. Wallet, full of half-burned money. Thousands of dollars. Birth certificate, passport, social security card, credit cards, ID. Her face on the ID was scratched out, so was her name. Show friends. The smartest of the group says we should dip out. Woods around us got super quiet. The stream seemed to quiet even. Felt watched. Dropped everything back in the burn pit and dipped.